Bourbon. Belts. Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. I'm good old TJ, and Mac Daddy Ryan is not here. He's away for the weekend, so I am all alone. There's nobody here besides me. No, I'm not going to cry about it, but if you do see Ryan walking down the street, make sure to call him Mac Daddy Ryan, because he loves that name. All right, let's get to it. We got a cocktail of the week. I chose this one, and it's called the Bourbon Lemon Fizz, and it's a play on a whiskey sour. We're utilizing the bourbon from last week, the Maker's Mark 46 French Oaked. You're going to put this in a little shaker, so you're going to do 1.5 parts bourbon, 3/4 part lemon juice, 3/4 parts simple syrup. You're going to shaky in honor of Ryan. You're going to pour that into a glass and then top it off with Prosecco. Really excited to try this one. I chose Prosecco this week because Ryan is not a big fan of that. So I think it's pretty good in these cocktails. So let's give it a try. Dang, that is really refreshing. It's a pretty warm day for Memorial Day weekend here, and holy smokes, it is a whiskey sour, but you get that little extra fizz, the bubbly from the Prosecco. I'm going to give this a 9.5. I really like it. This is going to be a summer drink, at least for me. This is top notch. Pairs really well with the bourbon. You can still get that taste, but it doesn't overpower all the other ingredients. But it's very simple. Just bourbon, lemon juice, simple syrup, and Prosecco. Has a nice sweetness to it. And again, that little bubbly adds a little extra to it. And I'm a big fan of the whiskey sour. So 9.5 I'm giving it. You can check out the socials. We're going to have the cocktail makeup of that on there. Going to our socials, you can find us on Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok. We are at TripBPod. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We are the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. And you can always shoot us an email at triplebpod619@gmail.com. Look forward to interacting with you guys. Give us some ideas for the show, questions of the week, bourbon of the week. That brings us over to our Bourbon Talk section of the show. My fact check. Surprising fact. It was not a very... It was a very low-key week for fact checks. So I will take that, because usually there's a list of like 1,000 things when I'm doing this. Fact checking myself on that? No. We haven't exceeded 20, but I always get the big end of the stick there. So, going to last week's fact check, Gunther's title reign. So, we're going to just put a kibosh to this, because we've talked about Gunther 2 times now in the fact check. Going to clear it all up. So, I said that he won the NXT heavyweight title. That was false. Ryan said he won the North American Championship. That was false. Ryan also said he held more than 3 titles. That is false. He has only held 3. That was the World Heavyweight Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, and the NXT UK Heavyweight Championship. Now, going down to the dates, because I was just seeing if I could break it down after having a little more time to research it. So, he held the World Heavyweight Championship for 259 days. He held the Intercontinental title for 666 days and held the NXT UK title for 870 days. So if we do the math, he debuted in NXT UK on January 12, 2019, which means he's been in the WWE or under the WWE umbrella for 2,001 days. If you do the math, that's 1,795 days as champion Divide that by the 2,324 days. It's a 77.2% as champion. So Ryan was correct in saying 77%. Now, if we just look at the main roster side of things, so you add the IC and heavyweight title, that adds up to 925 days. You divide that by the 1,142 days that he's been on the main roster. That is at 81%. So when Pat McAfee, Michael Carr are saying that on a commentary, it is facts. He's 80% been champion on the main roster. So holy smokes. Next up, we asked about the cause of Sabu's death. There is no official release on that yet. Rumor is that it was cardiac arrest, but again, no official release has been on that. So more to come on that. How many live-action Smurf movies have there been? We thought there was only one, but 1 and 2 were a mix of the live-action CGI movies. So there was 2. Lost Village was animation, so this next one that's coming out, the reboot that we were talking about last week, is the 3rd live-action. He was asking if Razimal it was in any of the other Smurf movies, and we were correct in saying that no, he was not. So this will be the first time. And then I just kind of wanted to look into what Ryan was possibly talking about. There was a hood character in the show Miss Marvel. We were talking about Ironheart and thought that there may be a carryover character. And I don't think so, but the character that I did look up that possibly he could have been thinking about was the Red Dagger. So we'll just see what he says about that when he comes back. And then we were just talking about how it lines up with Ironheart and Fantastic Four coming up this summer and the release dates. It looks like Ironheart is going to finish the week before on July 15th, and then July 25th. That's when Fantastic Four comes out. So it's the perfect lead up. Gives you time to watch the show and catch up on all things Marvel leading up into Fantastic Four. All right, wellness journey check-in number 20. I'm going to just give mine. Ryan did give me his. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I know he's about 1.5 pounds away from hitting his goal, or 1.25 pounds. So very, very close to it. So just going over mine. Successes, very consistent on working out, on just eating better now. I've been continuing the calorie counting. 1 week, though, I have cut out my black and white mochas. That was taking up a lot of calories each and every day, and I cut that out this week, so that was a success. Challenges, working around some nagging pains. I got some pain in the back and in the shin right now, but I've been using the heating pad, ice pad, and whatnot, and seem to be doing just fine, but just dealing with that. Going in the great news, had a very successful 2 weeks here since our last weigh-in. I'm down 4.8 pounds. I am total loss down 34.7 pounds, and my new weight is 228.2. So I have officially broke out of the 230s. It took a month to get through that, but I'm 18.2 pounds away from the overall goal. Huge accomplishment. This is the most consistent I've ever been. I'm super excited to see the weight on the scale today, and just that much more extra motivated to get down to that 210 goal. So that brings us to belts, and we're gonna go right into the what do you want to talk about. I'm going to be covering Raw and SmackDown this week, so let's just kick it over to Raw. Firstly, I want to bring up the whole buildup of the web around the World Heavyweight Championship right now. It is going great. It is fantastic what they're doing with this. They are spinning this web of everyone that can possibly be going for the title in the next upcoming months. You got Logan Paul, Jey Uso right now. Then you got Gunther, who's on the horizon of getting his rematch. So he is making it well known, both in Jay's side of things and Logan Paul's side of things, that he's going to be in the thick of things. Fast forward, you got Seth Rollins, who is going around talking to each and every person that could potentially be a champion. And then you got Money in the Bank looming. So there's just so much going on around the world title. I think this has just been so good for Jey Uso and his reign. I know it's only been barely a month, but there's a lot of buzz going around that, and I think a lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. So really excited to see where this is all going to go. We know that Jey Uso, Logan Paul is going to be a barn burner on Saturday night's main event. So I'm very curious to see where it goes. I honestly could see many things happening around that title picture. So very, very curious about this. Very excited. I know we've been talking about this a lot recently, but this Lyra and Becky feud is amazing. This is how you keep what happened on Raw with the triple threat match. You had a qualifier match, and then you have Lyra come out and cost Becky this match. This is how you keep Becky relevant, but not needing to be in the title hunt of the World Heavyweight Championship side on Raw. This is incredible. I wasn't ready for this feud to be over. Becky definitely was talking about Lyra, so Lyra's going on the hunt. She's the champ, but she's picking the fight with Becky, and it was good. There's a little sloppy moments during this whole match and during that whole after match breakdown, but the whole point of it is I'm excited about this. We got also Roxanne Perez, newbie on Raw, she won the qualifier match, which is just exciting in itself. Just new up and coming talent getting put into a high profile match in the upcoming weeks. Poor Natty, unfortunately, has to take the loss. That seems to be the trend, is just loss for her on the main card. But that's how it goes. But really excited for Roxanne Perez to be in the Money in the Bank and continue to see this Lyra and Becky feud play out, because there was a war of words leading up to Backlash, and now we get to see hopefully more to come on that. Next up, my heart goes out to Zoe Stark. Holy smokes, what a brutal injury. Wasn't necessarily sold on her character per se, but she is heck of a talent in the ring, and nobody deserves to get hurt like that. It looked like bad timing from the replay, but holy smokes, that was brutal. That's right up there with the Sid Vicious leg snap. Holy smokes, that was hard to watch. And then hearing her scream, oh my God, that was just crazy. But here's to hoping she has a speedy recovery. And I really hope that this doesn't, derail her career post-injury. I hope she can come back with a fire under her, because she is that good in the ring. I know the higher-ups were believing in her. They wouldn't have teamed her up with Trish Stratus. She does need a little character work and work on the mic, but overall, what she does in the ring is great, and I hope that post-injury she comes back stronger. But holy smokes, wow. That brings us over to the main event of Raw. Jey versus Braun was a solid match. These guys had great chemistry going for the IC title last year. But we get to carry that over into this new era of Braun Breaker, and they put on a great match. Although it did end in DQ, and I'm okay with this, obviously, because it's just leading to what Saturday night's main event is. We got CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. We knew this wasn't going to be a clean finish, so great match, sucky end result, but what happens afterwards. So we were talking about Sami Zayn, or I brought up that there's a potential heel turn coming for Sami again, and it almost felt like that. Like he ran down to the ring after he said that he was going to have Jay's back, and he just kind of waited out. I know he was outnumbered, so it does make sense, and he had someone coming out with him. But I don't know, just the look on his face when he got up to the ringside and stepped up, I thought he would just go into the ring, but he didn't. He hesitates. And then you get CM Punk's music hitting, and holy crap, that crowd reaction was huge for him. It felt like Stone Cold back in the heyday when he would come out and just beat up everyone that was in the ring. It just felt like one of those moments. The crowd went nuts for it. It was insane. I loved everything about it. Let's keep that going into Saturday night's main event. Should be a solid match, and don't know how that one's going to play out. Over to the SmackDown side of things, we got what I think is some excitement going on in the women's division. We get Tiffy opening the show. We get Alexa Bliss quickly interrupting her, and then followed by Charlotte Flair. We know there's something brewing between Alexa and Charlotte. They've had feuds in the past, and I'm all for bringing that feud back or whatever is going to come. But Tiffy really shined in this segment. She called him old and just dropped the mic and walked away. But it was a cool transition into the women's Money in the Bank qualifier match between Zelina, Julia, and Charlotte. The match was pretty good. There was a little bit of sloppiness going on. But again, it branched out into so many different storylines that could possibly be going down. Like I said, you got the Alexa Bliss Charlotte, you got Alexa Bliss Tiffy, you got Zelina, and Chelsea Green is not done with her. And then we got an up-and-comer, Julia, and Julia ultimately wins this match. I thought it was a great way on both sides of things of keeping the big people that we've seen over and over again in that title feud, Charlotte and Becky, out of the match. It was the perfect way to do that, and you get to shine the spotlight on these up and coming women's division. So really excited that Julia won this. Was it her best match? No, but it's her first night on SmackDown in a match, so more to come. I think that she's going to shine in this Money in the Bank match. I really don't know who's going to win that now, because we got Roxanne Perez, we got Julia. I think those could potentially be the ones that win it, but we will see. I'm starting to get behind Solo and Jacob feud. We know it's brewing. There's gonna be a big breakup, but I feel like these past 2 weeks, they're finally starting to actually dig into this feud, and Solo is turning into the old Solo. He's just so good on the mic, and they've been really shining into that. His little sarcastic character is really coming out, and like when Jacob said, "I love you, Solo," and then he looks at JC and he's like, he hasn't said that in 6 months, and he looked so excited, and I was dying. I was laughing so much at that. It was really, really well timed. But Jacob Fatu is now in the Money in the Bank qualifier match. Now, I know I've complained about this just last week that Zelina didn't need to be in it, and I still believe that Jacob doesn't need to be in it, but the way that the storyline is playing out is that he could potentially be in this match. You got Solo saying, "We're gonna win this match." That's not gonna work well for these guys. So it will be curious to see how that all plays out. But I really kind of do want it to play out in the Money in the Bank match, because I think that it puts an interesting twist that we got a storyline, a side story brewing inside this match on top of it all. So it allows Solo and Jacob to lose that match and carry on to what they're doing, and then shine a light on whoever wins the Money in the Bank case during that match. I could also see something happening next week in this qualifier match where Jacob doesn't win because of Solo, and that could keep this feud going forward. That's the less likely scenario that I would like to play out, but I could see that happening as well. So fingers crossed, Jacob does make it to the Money in the Bank match, and that's where that feud plays out. Next up, we got to talk about that R-Truth promo. This has been a long time coming. R-Truth has been talking about his childhood hero John Cena for what seems like forever now, and it's finally coming to a head at this Saturday night's main event. This promo was really great because he kept that comedic side of things going, but dealing with this inner turmoil of how disappointed he is in John Cena, and it was well played by him. It's been a long time since we've seen a more serious side of R-Truth, and he really shined in this moment. I thought this promo was just fire. Him saying that he needs to save wrestling by saving John Cena is just like the ultimate good guy thing. It's almost what John Cena, the old John Cena, would say, right? And so I thought that was really cool. And it's just really cool to think about that this is John Cena's go home year. He's calling his shot. He's retiring. And obviously, I feel like he's got a say in who he faces across his last part of this reign. And he chose R-Truth. That is just so telling about the relationship they have. It's also just good for R-Truth because it puts him in a big storyline, because R-Truth is also old, and this could be one of the last few years that we see him. So all around, I'm really excited for this. I know the no title is on the line, but it gets R-Truth in that big storyline, and we'll see what happens at Saturday night's main event. Lastly, we got to talk about that main event, the ending of SmackDown. We got the Street Profits versus Fraxium for the Tag Team Championship. Fraxium's been on a hot roll. They've beat 4 teams leading up to this, including the Street Profits, although they weren't at 100%, and they really tried to drill that on commentary. We get it. They were banged up from the TLC match, but they lost. But Fraxium got new music. It's going to take a little getting used to, but I didn't hate it. I feel like this is one of the better new entrance music, so I'm excited for that. They just kind of got to clear up their entrance because it just feels like they were coming out to the same old music, but it wasn't to the beat of this new one. But that's not to take away from this match. This match was everything I thought it would be. It was incredible. Both these teams are just solid, and they delivered. A little disappointed that it did not have a definitive finish, but that was quickly taken away by what was to come. So we got DIY interference, obviously. We got Motor City Machine Guns coming down. I thought this was cool because it's putting this big light on the tag team division that's on SmackDown. Yes, it's repeating a lot of interference and not letting tag team finish off, but it's also, making Fraxium and Street Profits still look strong in this one. I think it does work in this situation. And then the lights went off. And we got the Wyatt Six. Holy shit. This was such an awesome moment to close out the show. The fear in Montez's face was incredible. And then they went on a tear and took out everyone in that ring. I've been waiting a long time for the Wyatt Six to come back to our TVs, and it finally happened, and it couldn't have happened on a better day. This was Bray Wyatt's birthday. Obviously, he's not with us anymore, but they played a little tribute to him at the end of this show by sliding in a birthday cake with a candle and blowing it out to close the show, and just a really incredible thing. I'm really curious to see where this is going to go with the Wyatt Six. Hopefully they have a better plan for them, but preliminary, this looks really exciting, and I'm excited to have them on there. And that brings us over to Banger of the Week. I gotta give it to the tribute to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's birthday. I mean, I miss Bray so much. I still think about him a lot, and when I do, I get pretty emotional. But when the birthday cake got slid in and they blew out the candle, I got emotional, man. I did break down into tears. I thought it was well done. Miss you, Bray. Belt question of the week. What is the first match that pops up into your head where the match had all the hype and build, but the match was a big, huge letdown? Did not even have to think real quick about this. It's gotta be Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20 with Stone Cold as the special guest referee. You got two of the biggest stars on one side with ultimately one of the best superstars of all time and as a special guest referee. You don't even need a build up to this match, and it should be gold. But there was a lot of build up to this. You had some interaction at Royal Rumble. Then at No Way Out, you got Goldberg costing Brock Lesnar the title. Fast forward to WrestleMania 20. I mean, that's all the build you need. It should have been an epic match, but no. When got around that these guys were leaving WWE. Both of them weren't happy with what was going on, or they were just ready to let their contract run out. Whatever the reason was, crowd got wind of it. They tore that match apart before they could even lock horns. And then all they did was go around in circles, do a tie up, and then push off each other. I go back to this match a lot and hope that I was wrong about it. And I rewatch it and I'm like, nope. Still disappointing. The only saving grace was you got Stone Cold at the end of the match, just stunning everyone. Ultimately, it was really Stone Cold versus Goldberg that everyone wanted to see. That was the ultimate dream match back in the day. But then there was also that dream match of Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar. So it was really cool to see Stone Cold take them both out. But again, just the match itself was a huge letdown. Had a very high hopes for it, and it did not play out. So, you listeners, Ryan, when you come back, let me know what match you guys thought of that was just, it had all the hype, but did not play out like it should. That brings us to Blockbusters! Not a lot to talk on, but we got one movie to talk about over here, Americana. Synopsis: the lives of a local outsiders and outcasts violently intertwine when a rare Lakota ghost shirt falls onto the black market in a small South Dakota town. Cast is Sydney Sweeney, Paul Walter Halsey, and Eric Dane. The release date for this is August 22nd, 2025. Platform is in the movie theaters. This was like a festival movie that came out in 2023. It looks like Lionsgate picked it up and will be releasing it out into the theaters. But it's like a Western movie, and we got a lot of different groups coming at each other, going after this shirt in the trailer. It got this freaking kid who's, I feel like, is going to steal the show. He was just laying some comedic lines throughout this trailer. Really excited for this one. It should be a good one. Should be action-packed and a lot of laughs. I think this one's going to be a good one. Going over to the series side of things, we got Chief of War. Synopsis: a thrilling, unprecedented telling of the unification of the Hawaiian Islands from an indigenous perspective. A Hawaiian war chief joins a bloody campaign to unite the warring islands in order to save them from the threat of colonization. Cast as Jason Momoa and then Thomas Sabet. Release date is August 1st, 2025, and the platform is on Apple TV+. Once again, we talk about Apple TV Plus and how well it's been doing with releasing stuff, so I feel like this show is going to follow in its footsteps. First of all, trailer looks hella intense. This is It just looks beautifully shot. It definitely gives me vibes of Apocalypto, the Mel Gibson movie. It definitely has those vibes, and it's just gonna, I think this is gonna be a really intense action-packed show, and I'm ready to watch it. Welcome to Derry. We've talked about this being a show coming in the future, so it really should be in our follow-up section, but putting it on here because we finally did get a trailer. Synopsis: it will follow the events in the 1960s, the time leading up to the events of the first film in Stephen King It series. Cast is Hovan Adepo, Bill Skarsgård back as Pennywise, and Taylor Page. Release date this fall in 2025. There was not a definitive release date, but the platform will be on HBO Max. Yes, you heard that right. HBO Max is back. It's not just going to be Max anymore. And holy smokes, this trailer was incredible. It's got that anxiety to it. It got that callbacks to the movies, and then the closing shot of it, you get to see Pennywise. What's really cool about what I'm hearing about this show is that it's going to be a 3-season run, and then each season is going back further in time. So this is leading up, this first season is what leads up right into the movies, and then the next season will be a time period way before what's happening in this season. So we're getting closer and closer to the origin of Pennywise, which is a really cool concept. Super excited for this one. Looks terrifying. I loved the It Chapter 1 and 2 that came out. So this is going to be a great one. Fred! Follow-up, rumors, and early development. We got some Marvel news this week about the Avengers Doomsday. Unfortunately, it is being delayed from May until December. And honestly, although little disappointment because I would love to see Avengers sooner than later, but I want to make sure that it's done right. So if they need more time to do it, so be it. I'll take the delay all day, because it's a big, tall task to ask for them to come out with an Avengers movie on a grand scale in a year's time. These movies definitely take time. We've heard about it in the past where they had to rush the CGI, and fans have complained about that. So I am here for them taking their time on this, because it's gonna be a good one. And I'd rather just wait for the perfect product than not. So there's that. That also pushed back Avengers Secret Wars as well. So they're both going to be coming out December of 2026 and December of 2027. More to come on that. Next up, we got Jurassic Park Rebirth. We got a new trailer for this, and although the first trailer for this was great, I think this new one does it justice. It kind of led in more into the horror side of the dinosaurs, and talking about the dinosaurs, they look fantastic. I mean, the opening scene of this trailer where the guy is behind the glass door and you just see a big claw come and grab it. Yeah, I felt bad for the guy. I genuinely felt scared and bad for this guy stuck in there with that dinosaur. But that makes these trailers good, right? So, and then one of the other cool shots that you get to see is the T-Rex swimming in the river. I thought that scene was incredible. I'm excited to see how that plays out in the movie. But really well done on this trailer. I'm really excited for this movie. It just kind of feels like a callback to the first two movies a little more, and I'm here for that. Blockbusters question of the week. It's the video game era. We got the likes of Super Mario, Sonic, and Mortal Kombat that has come out. We got some rumors of a Street Fighter movie that's about to come out. What are some other video game movies you'd like to see come out? Well, The first things that came to mind, and actually doing some research, it sounds like they've been in the works, but it's been a long time that these have been in the works, so I'm still going to push for them. So, first one, BioShock. It was an Xbox game at first. I think it might be on multiple consoles now, but BioShock, I think that's being brought to the movie world would be huge. We got Gears of War. This was one of the first Xbox 360 games I got, and it was fun. I would like to see that come to the big screen. I think Batista would be perfect casting for that movie. And then also, I know it has a show out, but honestly, I feel like a movie trilogy would be great for Halo. I think Peter Jackson should be the director of it. It should just be an all-out, big, massive, epic movie on the big screen with Peter Jackson's vision behind it. He did great things with Lord of the Rings. Let's bring the Halo to the big screen with his vision behind it. And if you don't accept my answers because there is some history or potential movies already on the horizon and or there has been a show on it, what about Donkey Kong? That was one of the characters in video games I used to play on Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong 64. Those games were incredible, and it would be cool to see that world come across on the big screen. And then one more I could think of is Perfect Dark. We've already had James Bond. We've had many iterations of that on the big screen, but it would be fun to bring Perfect Dark on it. That game was incredible. It was a nice game that brought us back to GoldenEye, but on maybe a little bigger scale. Super fun game. Highly recommend it if you haven't played it. But those were the couple that I also thought of. So please let us know what games you would like to see on the big screen. And that closes out the show. Episode 51. Cheers to you guys.